All right, well, good afternoon, good morning, good evening, wherever you are joining us from. Welcome to our session. We have a very tired Amey Holden.
I'm not tired, I had a nap.
Amy's had a nap, but
from a nap.
it is midnight, so it's been probably a long day and a long night already for Amey. So welcome everyone. We're going to jump straight in, because if it's anything like the first session, I think it's going to be even more crazy with questions. We had about 100 people on the session this morning, and we had a ton of questions. We just couldn't get through to all of them. So just a few key points before we get started. The session is it's already started being recording. So if you're not comfortable with that, then that's up to you if you want to go ahead and leave. And the attendance is not anonymous. So in other words, if you're asking questions, then your name will be visible. Add your questions to the Q&A. So we've got Q&A and we also have chat. Chat is literally going to be for chat. And that's interesting. Somebody's assistant is joining Amey. I'm not sure how I feel about that. I'm not a fan of that. Bit icky. So anyway, so the chat, if you want to say where you're dialing in from, it would be good, and then at least we know that people can hear us. So if some of you can just say, yes, I'm from here, that would be fantastic. Makes this brilliant. People can hear us. Thank you. The Q&A is what Amey and I will be working from. We will not be going backwards and forwards from chat to Q&A. So please put your questions in Q&A. We've got over 200 people registered. So if you do the maths, even if we just had 1 minute per question, we could only get to 60, and even that is unrealistic.
We're 2 minutes in. We've stuffed it already.
Exactly. All right. So if you've got a question, we will invite you to ask in person. So we'll be able to allow you to unmute yourself. Specific examples are fine, but please don't share sensitive data here. Questions very much only on the topic of customer insights journeys, not data. We'll attempt to get through as many questions as possible. And also what we found from this first session we did, if you're looking at the Q&A and you are knowledgeable yourself and you know that you could maybe answer someone's question, please, we are not precious. We don't care. Go ahead and give them some help and put in some comments if you think you could help them out, because we can't get through to everything. And then last thing, in terms of Amey and I are going to be giving you our opinions and our suggestions based on our experience. However, we're not liable if you go off and do something based on how you've interpreted something. So in other words, it's up to you to decide how you act upon the advice that is given. So if you're working with a partner, work with them, ask them more questions. And Amey and I are both pretty open on LinkedIn, on our website. So you can always message us there as well.
Like I said last time, me and Megan are wearing our community give back hats. We are not in our professional, well, we are professionals, but we're not here to poach people. We're not here to leech work out of people. We want to help, and it's our community give back. So we're not here to try and steal people or partners or customers.
Yes.
Just here to be nice people.
Exactly. All right, so let's go ahead. Also, I see some people are putting multiple questions in. In the fairness to everybody, we will address your first question. So please go ahead and add each question individually. We just can't really fairly take like 3 questions at one time from somebody. So we'll try and do it as fairly as possible. All right, so first of all, we've got Harry. So let's see if we can find Harry in the list.
I was just long. I found out how to. There's a search. Harry, I've just enabled your microphone. I feel like a Teams pro. You can unmute and ask your question.
So Harry, if you want to go.
Yeah, thank you first for organizing this event. My biggest issue or a problem, I'm not sure. You just confirm. First thing, we are just transitioning from outbound marketing to real-time marketing.
Good, you're in the right place. Next.
Okay. Yeah. The issue was we transitioned from subscription center to preference center, where the subscriptions are stored in the contact point consent records. So then the next step was we are creating a segment based on the topics, but it is not showing the members. Okay, then I raised it. Yeah, the issue was when I create a segment and I put a filter criteria based on the topics, it's not showing any members. So I raised a ticket to Microsoft. They said it's a bug, major bug. It is affecting everybody, but it's my crucial functionality. Do you have same issue from your side?
Interesting. It depends.
Well,
it depends. Filter.
Yeah, and also if it's a newer bug, it could be something that has been introduced relatively recently. So I think the only thing at this point we can do is say if Microsoft is saying it's a bug, then it's a bug, and obviously we can't give any way to fix that. I
got the point, but have you anybody experienced this issue? Because it's a core functionality, right? Creating a segment based out of topics, filter based on top topics.
It depends on the compliance profile you're using, whether you're using will send or will not send. There's a couple that do work. There's a couple that are flaky. I'm aware of that. I also had one customer with a similar problem to you where nothing was loading, like zippo nada.
Yeah.
And that was actually a different problem, which got blamed for being a problem with the segment, with the topics. It was actually a bigger problem around the whole data sync for that organization had been turned off. And the scenario was that the environment had been restored a few weeks ago, and we think that's possibly why. So try and consider when was your contact point consent loaded, and just try and dig down that path a bit to check it's not that. But try and get a clear explanation from support about what is the bug that's specifically causing this problem, because they've had a lot of noise from that and they seem to be chucking things in a bucket because they're pretty stressed out at the minute. Try and get some more detail on specifically what bug is going to be fixed, is going to fix your problem, and consider whether maybe there is an issue with the data sync.
Yeah. And if anybody else has faced issues or has anything more they can share with you, they can put that in a comment below your question in the Q&A. So thank you, Harry. We appreciate that. So next we have Eric.
Godspeed.
Yes.
I have many questions, but I understand many people are waiting. I will happy with this question. You can use me.
So we'll go on to Eric. So let me allow you to unmute Eric Lee.
Eric Lee's back for round 2, I think.
So I know you have 3 questions listed, Eric. We're going to have to just go with one. So pick one.
Oh, only one. I can only choose one.
We just don't have time, Eric. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it. All right, maybe we just go with the email editor one then.
Okay.
So my question here is that suppose we send an invite with personalization for event records. So your invite, you have your date, your time, whatever. You could actually personalize by pointing it to the event record itself so that it shows the date and stuff it is. So my question is, if we were to replicate the email, is there a faster way to change the event record rather than having to go into each personalization and change the event record itself?
Yeah, so I would check out, I think, I'm not sure, Amey, if you've written about them much, but I've done quite a few posts about events and actually the ability to be able to create an event journey that just runs for any event, but also you could change the event on the trigger of your journeys. So as long as you go via, let's say you do the event registration created trigger, then you can then go through and get the event information dynamically rather than setting the event specifically. So if you have a look through, like I said, at least I know I've written quite a few things, but those out of the box triggers for event registration created or event check-in, you can go via and go through the event reference link and you can get anything you want out of there. So I would avoid actually hard coding and putting this specific event when you're doing your emails, and actually just having a generic email, but that it's pulling through via the trigger and doing it that way instead.
Yeah. So we're doing that for registrations and like reminders and so on. And I definitely looked at your blog, and that was really helpful. Thank you. But this is more like an invite. So let's just say I need to send to a list, and I'm just thinking if there's a better way to do that, because it's not a trigger.
I guess.
I probably just wouldn't bother using the event reference. I'd just fucking I'd just create the email with the content.
Yeah, I was going to say if you're just doing that and you're not doing it based on anything to do with the trigger, it would probably be more effort to go through and create a custom trigger, workflows, all the rest of it. Yeah, if it's just you're just changing the name and the date and time and stuff, then yeah, it's probably not. It's probably more effort to go through. I'm not saying you couldn't do everything automatically, but it's probably more effort to do it that way.
Also more error prone, very prone to human error, that sneaky lookup. People forget to change it. So
true. That's true.
Yeah.
That never happened. So Eric, hopefully that helps you. If we have time, we'll go back around and get
probably not going to happen, but we will come back to them.
Sure.
Amey
Thank you so
Whitworth.
much.
Thanks, man.
Thanks,
Whitworth,
Amey.
I've just enabled your microphone. I think you were next on the list.
Yeah.
Hi, everyone. I've got two questions. Hello. I've got two questions, but I'll pick the one that I think.
Oh, pick the one, yeah. Otherwise, Eric will be back on us.
Fine. Recurring events. So currently, it sits within Outbound, and we're looking to use it for events that happen weekly, as well as daily. Is there a fix coming in for that, or are we having to use a workaround, or do you also have a recommendation of a workaround?
Have you done much with recurring events, Amey?
I've never met anyone that's used them.
No, so I haven't either. I think, unfortunately, at the minute, that's one of the things that still isn't there yet, Amey. Amey Whitworth, not Amey Holden. So the in terms of your recurring event, you're basically going to have to, unfortunately, if you're looking at then doing your journeys that go along with it, you'd need to have each event individually and then each journey individually. We'll see. There might be somebody from Microsoft on this session. I know a few people registered, so if any of our friends from Microsoft are on and have an answer that they can give to Amey, can you scroll down? She's right near the bottom of all of the Q&A questions, or tag her in the chat if you've got anything that you can share. That would be brilliant. So Amey, at this point, I don't have anything that is known that would have a date or a time frame in mind for that, but
sorry. Well, if you're using like an event, a trigger-based journey that's generic and serves all your events, at least then your journeys are sorted and your comms are sorted. So it would be a case of just creating the event again and again and again. I know it's lousy, but it's like, like once a week I create a new event and I check it up. And
I guess also you could do something, Amey, in terms of a custom field perhaps on the event that flags, that says, hey, this is one of our recurring events, in which case then your journey could then use that same logic so that it only runs for the events that you've flagged as being recurring. So at least that might sort of tie that piece together as well. So
no worries. Thank you very much.
You're very welcome. All right, so next we've got Sinead. I hope I've said that right. Sinead Hensey. Let me know if you find her.
I did not. I got excited about recurring event hacks.
It's Hensey Sinead is how it's listed. H-E-N-S-E-Y.
Your mic is enabled.
Hello. Yes, you did pronounce that correctly.
Nice.
So my question, at the moment, we use marketing lists quite a lot internally to create, review, edit lists for specific individuals, for example, for guest lists for events. It doesn't seem to be clear whether this is going to be available in real time, and if it's not, what's the workaround for reviewing, because segments just seem to be a bit sort of clunky to review. And
yeah, that can be a challenge. So this came up on the call morning. Marketing lists. Anyone that's used Dynamics for any length of time will know marketing lists, as they've been around forever. So they're part of the core Dataverse tables. So technically, yes, they are not part of the marketing app. I would put money on them not going anywhere. That's a bit of a gamble.
There's no
to
way
say,
they
but
can.
I don't
They
see
cannot
them
get rid
going
of them.
anywhere. Yeah, because they've got nothing to do with the marketing app. They've
Yeah.
been things that people have used from a sales perspective, from a customer service hub perspective. I see someone's raised the hand. Sorry, we're only going via the QA
Feel
section.
free to
Apologies.
comment in their
Sorry.
Q&A comment thing if you want to add something to the
So
story.
Sinead, I would say no, they're not going away. You can still use them. You would probably need to have somebody add them to the sitemap for you so that you can still get to them. And also the subscription lists were actually just marketing lists, just with a field that was subscription. Yes, no, I think it was. So, so you should be fine to carry on using those.
Brilliant, thank you. That's great news.
You're welcome. Yes, it's finally some good news, right? Shall
Gotta
we
do something.
Should we go to Sundas Zahid? I hope I said that right.
Are you not unmuted? Your mic is enabled. You can now ask your question. Sundas, are you there?
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello, yes, we
Yeah,
can.
good. Thank you. My question is around. It looks like it's a follow-up from the previous two questions. It's like I have added the marketing list on the sitemap. Now, when I create a segment from that marketing, so I have 2 members in that marketing list. I can see that. But when I create a segment using that marketing list, it does not display any members. I don't know.
I've seen this.
You have seen this, right? Okay.
Yeah,
So
it's a segment data sync issue.
Segment
I've usually had to raise support ticket is my main way to fix it. As soon as you say marketing list and the buzzword is list members, because it's actually like a relationship that's between them, tell them that the list member table isn't syncing to the segment builder. They'll scurry around for a couple of days and magically it'll start working again.
Okay, perfect. That's fine. So it is the data sync issue with them. So
list member is the keyword. List member.
Yeah. Perfect. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Oh, Amy, solving support tickets one at a time.
I know. I've seen them all.
Yes. All right. So we'll go. Thanks, Sundas. So we'll go with Diego next.
Yes,
You'll have to tell me your secret way of finding people quickly, Amy. But until
like
then, you just keep doing it.
Microphone is enabled for Diego.
Diego?
Hey, hello.
Hello.
Hey.
From Colombia, Bogota. I wanted to know how we can assign user roles to create emails or work with segments, but restricted from create or publishing journeys, sending emails. We have a centralized organization, but we want the people to create emails, create journeys, but not to publish it.
Oh, I have a blog post I wrote. It's something I see quite a lot. It's a bit of a basic blog, but I will try and find the link. I wrote a blog post about how you can restrict the ability to publish to basically, it's a field that you add that says it's been reviewed. You layer on field level security onto that field, and you only give certain people that permission to change that field to say it's been reviewed. So it's a bit like classic Dataverse dynamic stuff. Totally can do it, and it works pretty nice. I will try and find the blog post. Or look for my name and restrict publish journeys. I'm sure Google will search and choose for you.
Okay. Thank you.
If you don't find it, put a comment in the chat and I'll sort it out for you.
Okay, I will.
Thanks, Diego.
Thanks.
Thanks, man.
Katerina is next.
Is he? I thought it was Matt Wild.
Nope.
Maybe nope. I'll listen to the instructions. Sorry, I'll go.
Is above Diego.
Katerina.
Sorry, Matt.
Sorry, buddy.
Amy was
Request
going
to
with
join.
you.
Sorry, I've lost it.
Ignore those. I'm doing that. Don't worry. All right. So Katerina, hopefully.
No, because I haven't found her. Oh, I spelled her name wrong. That's why. Sorry.
Caterina.
You need a new assistant, Megan, and this one's rubbish. I've now enabled your microphone, Katerina.
So thank you.
Yay!
Thank you so much. I have a question in regards to event planning and real-time marketing. It is, we have noticed that now we have new buttons to create marketing modules events, either with real-time or outbound. And I was just wondering if it's connected to the portals. Real-time will be connected to portals, because when I publish an event with the marketing module real-time, it gives me the actual URL of the form page instead of giving me the URL of the portal. Thank you.
Yeah, I mean, are you sitting down? I think I've got a big announcement to tell you. The portal's gonna die. It's gone.
Thank you.
Yeah, so that's a very outbound marketing thing. The classic Angular beauty is gonna die. So that is part of outbound. As you've seen, only outbound events are available there. That will be the case in anything from 30th of June that's on there. It no worky. I think the portal will show events, but if they try and register, it's all going to fall apart. So you do need to make a plan to get those events that are outbound marketing labeled to be real-time journeys labeled. You cannot currently change the label of that, and you have to create a new event. There may eventually be a way that we can try and convert them, but technically speaking, it's quite challenging for them. So it does need to make a cutoff and say, okay, from now on, no more outbound marketing journeys, real time only, bish, bash, bosh. But yeah, the portal is going to die.
So a couple of other things, Katerina, in some of my clients' environments, I've actually already seen that so currently where you have new event and you have an option to say a real-time event, that is completely gone, and actually new event is just a real-time event. So I've not seen it at all, but I have seen it in some. So the option is going to be going away, and this is a client that has had outbound. So it's not in their production environment yet, but in their development and their staging environments, that option is completely gone. So if you've not already started to look into that, then definitely, hopefully you've got some kind of test, staging, development environment. You can go in and have a look and sort of play around and make sure you're comfortable with it. But like Amey said, that portal that has been an outbound marketing portal, that concept does not exist for real time. There are other options, and you could work with the developer to create a portal if you needed one. If you don't need one and you don't currently have one where people are logging in, I would suggest you just kind of go down the path of creating the event and then getting the embed code, the JavaScript, and putting it into pages on your website if that works. Otherwise, you'll need to work with a developer to get a new portal configured that will work with real time.
Thank you so much.
So please, sorry, that's not great news, but that's the situation.
That's the way it is.
Hopefully I'm saying this right, Tej or Tej. So
yes,
Tej, have you found?
Yeah, so I'll tell you later about my boring Teams admin things. Your mic is enabled.
Hi, both. And yeah, as far as my name goes, that's about as close as anyone usually gets. Tej.
Almost. Good.
Yeah, so this one's about editing, running journeys and segments. With journeys in particular, I know if you make any changes to the tiles, it creates a new version, kind of, software development style, which is useful in certain situations. But in others, if you have a long-running funnel that's based around a deadline or some other kind of date, sometimes you need to change that, and it doesn't really seem like there's any way to. And then it's even more restrictive when it comes to segments. If the segment's been used anywhere, journey or compound, there's just nothing you can do. So I'm wondering, hoping almost that I'm missing a trick there.
Amey, have you got any tricks up your sleeve?
I know nothing.
Nothing. Tej, it is unfortunately kind of what you see at this point is when you go ahead and make a change to your journey, then that is essentially creating the next version of that journey. So anyone that is currently on the previous versions will go through, and then the next people that fall into it will go through that next version. And you're also right in terms of segments. If you have a segment that is being used in a current live journey, you also are unable to make changes to that. Again, if anyone from Microsoft is on this call and you have any information that can be shared and there's anything that is coming, that would be fantastic. Please go ahead and share that. But there are definitely, and yeah, Edgar's just commented that's a biggest pain point. So yeah, it's a pain point for everyone. I know that doesn't make it any better, but you're not alone. And I don't think you've missed a trick at all, Tej.
No worries.
Sorry.
I thought as much. It might take a bit of a
say
reconsidering
yes.
about how to do marketing, I guess. Not quite sure what that looks like, but I'll work on it. Thank you.
You're welcome, not a problem. So we'll go past and on to the next person that's not had a question asked yet. So Javier.
Your mic is enabled. I got the name.
Thank you.
Hey.
Hi, Amy. Hi, Megan. Nice to meet you. Well, I try to make my best efforts to explain because English is not my best friend, but well,
I don't like it either. I don't have anything else.
I try to do my best effort. Well, I can see, or we can see in outbound marketing, we have behaviors, criteria when we create segments, and some of that criteria in outbound marketing don't exist in real-time marketing, right?
Yes.
And it's an issue or it's a problem for our customers because
is that like the web tracking perhaps? Because I know that's one of the behavioral things that isn't yet in real-time marketing in terms of your segments, or are there different behaviors?
Isn't it the same thing, but for different, like for outbound? So like outbound clicks versus real-time clicks, for example.
Yes, for example, our customers use these criteria to create exclusion segments.
Yes.
Right, and avoid send or resend emails to some contacts, and if they don't be able to use these criteria, maybe they would would have any trouble in their domain.
Yeah.
Right.
I gotcha.
Okay.
I don't know if exists any mechanism to reuse these criteria or any workarounds.
You can't shove the data into the real-time analytics. That's just not going to happen. But you can still currently use outbound segments as exclusion segments. I would say the main thing is transition sooner rather than later, and keep using your outbound segments as exclusion segments for as long as you can. And that's probably the best you're going to get. If you really, really, really want to make something super duper out of it, you could maybe somehow create a static marketing list of some sort using that data and have a static list that you then turn into a real-time segment. So if someone's been on that list, they're probably not going to come off it. Like, these are like, just don't email them. So then I'd probably look at a reverse engineering. Can I put them onto a list somewhere? Or can I just mark them all as opted out because I don't want to email them anyway? So I'm just going to suppress them in a different manner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
It is going to be a transition, and like Amy said, the sooner you can start doing your real-time journeys so that then your clicks are based on real-time clicks, because essentially at some point, if you wait too long, the ability to use those outbound segments is going to be gone. You're not going to have a choice because outbound will be gone completely. So if you start doing real-time journeys and emails, and I say now, not being flippant, obviously as soon as you can, still use the outbound segments as suppression, but then know that they will be gone. So you've only got a short window of time when you can do that. And then at that point, really that data, if it's more than sort of 2 months, 3 months old, is a bit irrelevant anyway at that point, whether they opened an email 3 months ago or not. So it's sooner rather than later get onto real time, and then you can still use those outbound segments for a little while longer.
Okay.
I think as well, clean them up. Like, if you genuinely don't want to ever email them, remove their marketing consent yourself. Done. Goodbye.
Yeah.
Goodbye to the contacts, not you. Sorry.
Yes,
I found it really rude.
Amy's very rude. Amy's being very rude, but she is past midnight, so let's just give her a bit of credit.
Well,
All right.
thank
So
you, thank you.
hopefully that helps, Javier. So now we're at Matt Wild.
It's Matt Wild. I feel like I'm his biggest fan. 1 second, I'm gonna unmute Matt Wild. I'm coming for you.
Yeah.
1 second. I tried to do it 20 minutes ago. I wasn't allowed. Okay. You are now
Okay.
microphone enabled.
Hi, Beth. Thanks for
Hi,
that.
Matt.
So my question was around redirect URLs. So
Oh,
we're using marketing website tracking for the clicks because we've got some key documents on the website that we store that on a third-party media library. So we use the redirect URLs in Outbound to basically still be able to track if somebody's actually clicked on that document. And is there anything in real time around this, if you know of?
there is not, and this was one of the areas that I was quite sad about because I rated it quite highly on this. Now, I don't know if they're going to potentially add something in the future, but along the same lines where we're talking about being able to track people visiting things, I don't know if you've looked at, and sorry people from Microsoft, cover your ears, but the crappy introduction of the web tracking that initially came in for Realtime, because at the minute all that does is it basically allows a trigger to be fired.
Yeah.
So my hope is that they expand on that and hopefully add something that would allow us to either have the same functionality as redirect or something similar. So the short answer is at this point there isn't anything.
Okay.
But like I said, the whole concept of the web tracking currently is quite subpar anyway, so hopefully that get expanded upon. I don't know if you have seen the blog post that I did on it, but at the bottom of that there is a link to the ideas page for Microsoft.
Yeah.
Where if you've got something like that, go for it, put it in there, share it online, share it directly with us. We'll do an upvote as well. But absolutely, don't have an answer for you as in do this instead. It's just missing functionality, unfortunately.
Okay. Yeah. No worries.
Sorry. Yeah.
Thank you for a lovely Northern English accent as well. I enjoyed that. Thank you.
Doris
Johnson, your mic is enabled. Oh. You might have to unmute yourself as well. I just give you the power to unmute. If you don't want to talk to us, I can read it out. I just need to scroll.
I can read it. So Doris, if you want to, you can, but otherwise I'm going to read your question. Previously had an issue with outbound forms and original timestamps. Now we are using a real-time form. Would the original timestamp do what it is supposed to do?
No. Next question. It doesn't update. What I've done actually for most customers that I've poked around with, I always added a field anyway to convert that date timestamp into a real date field anyway. So then you need to have like a little automation that runs every time a form is submitted to go and update that field.
I'm sorry. That's sorry.
Okay. Hello.
I've just been able to unmute you, and that's the list of my questions because that was a question I asked in the morning. So can I please ask another important question? Sorry.
Well, seeing as I read it out, then okay.
You've not asked a question yet. It was Megan asking questions.
Thank
so yeah,
you,
go
thank you so much. Thank
go for it, Doris.
I tried in the morning and no luck. Okay.
Don't come at me, people. But yes, go for it, Doris.
In outbound journeys, we could actually pause a journey because we had embargo periods where we were not allowed to send any emails. But we don't have that functionality in real time. We can only stop it. However,
all right.
Sorry?
It's on the release. It's on wave 1 release.
It's on wave 1?
Yes.
Yes. Or it was like a month ago.
Yes.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Exactly that scenario, like sensitive time, can't send emails, everyone shut up. Yeah, definitely. Check the release notes. If it's fallen off, you can go to the change history, see why it's fallen off and when it's going to come back.
Okay.
But it definitely was because me and Megan did a release wave video and it was there.
Okay. Well, if I don't find it, just in case I have to stop a journey and you then know it goes into a version where they're completed, would it still send emails that we're waiting to get sent out, or everything actually stops?
Stop journey stopped. Nada.
So even the completion stage would no longer exist?
Nah, it would all just stop.
All right, cool. Thank you. Thank you so much.
And anything to do with pausing it, obviously we don't know yet because it's not released. So we'll come back, and once it's been released, then if you've got questions. But yeah, in terms of completed, that's it. It's done, and stopped. That's done.
Everything gets stopped. Yep. Okay. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Doris.
Okay. There's one more in the question in the chat, but then I'll wait.
Yeah,
because in the morning you said you might respond. Yes, just being greedy. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Doris. So we've got either Joanna or Johanna or something completely different.
Joanna with a H. I'm going to enable your mic, and you can tell us what we've butchered there.
We probably said it so badly that they just
doesn't even recognize it as a name. It's not even
don't even know we're talking about them. So JOHANNA.
Yeah, mic's enabled.
You can unmute your mic and ask your question if you want to. And if not,
I'll pretend to be her this time. It's fine.
Yeah, perfect. So it's Johanna.
Yay! Okay.
But you can call me Joanna. It's fine. So my question is about real-time marketing trigger events. So when I create something like marketing form submitted, I have to choose the audience. And if I understand it correctly, I have to choose either contacts or leads. I cannot say both contacts and leads. Do I understand it correctly, or is there any workaround?
So it used to be that when you did a real-time form, it was either a lead form or a contact form. But now, because you can have a form that is basically looking at both, then if you pick one of those forms that is enabled for both, then yes, you would say which it is. At this moment in time, and my God, I would love Microsoft if they did this, is a journey cannot be for multiple audience types. So in other words, you can't have a journey that is for leads and for contacts. So your understanding is correct. It's probably not what you wanted. You probably wanted me to say, no, of course
you're
you can
wrong.
do it for both.
Exactly.
But at this moment, no. But that would be wonderful if that was possible. So because I mean something simple like we're sending out our newsletter, you've got to have a newsletter journey for leads and a newsletter journey for contacts, and that just isn't feasible. So sorry, Joanna, but yes, your understanding is correct. There is no secret, unfortunately.
All right. Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. No problem.
Time. Maybe. I'm not going to make you say that name.
No.
I've enabled the mic. Your name is VST, W-I-E.
Yeah,
yes.
Wietse. It's a very Dutch name.
Wietse.
I like it.
Wietse, yes.
Wietse. Perfect.
Thank you both for this. My question is about outbound segments. Will we still be able to see the criteria on the definition tab after the transition?
Oh, like what you configured to be the conditions?
Yes.
I don't 100% know, but I'm going to say probably yes, because that is data. That's not using the services that are getting turned off. The segment membership will obviously go FUBAR, but I'm pretty sure they will be. But now I don't want to promise you that in case it's not. My hunch is probably yes, but Megan's not sure.
My hunch is so if you are in the settings area currently, you can hide outbound. So if you hide it, then those outbound segments will still show. However, because none of us have gone through Microsoft pulling the plug and saying, right, this is off, it's hard to know whether at that point all of the original segments from outbound will still be in those views. If it is, great, and then you can still see it. We know that they will stop refreshing. We know that they will, and Josh has put something there. I'm going to neither confirm nor deny on that one. But those segments, even if they were still there, they're going to stop running. They're going to stop actually working. So I would not lean on that as as a crux, as a like, they'll probably still be there, I would go with the assumption that no, they won't be, because then if they are, great, it's a nice surprise. But if they're not, you're a little bit screwed.
Yes.
So we don't. The answer is we don't know, because obviously we can't look ahead in time. We don't work for Microsoft, so we can't say, oh yes, this is how they're going to engineer it.
No.
And even if we did know, they could change it at that point. So I would not hedge your bets and say, oh, it will probably still be there. I'd go with it's unlikely to be there and go with that.
But a backup plan, there is a segment migration tool now. So
Yeah,
I
I've got it.
grab them all,
Yeah.
shove them all in real time, so then you've got your backup if it all
Yeah.
does disappear on 30th of June.
Yes.
All right. I'm busy with that at the moment, so I'll keep working on that. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
No
not a problem.
worries.
Danilo?
I know.
Danilo
I'm
Santos?
scared about this question because I don't have a good answer. 1 second, unmuting. Microphone enabled.
I might.
Oh, talk to me.
Danilo,
I'm gonna learn
hopefully we
things.
said
Hello,
that.
hello everyone.
Hey.
Good evening. Yes, I'm from Brazil. Yes,
Perfect.
Danilo. It's
Danilo,
perfect.
go for
Thank
it.
you.
Go for it. Ask your question.
My question is related to consent management. I want to know if there is a way to collect the reason at the contact point, because I cannot add this field in the form related to the profile.
Yep.
And I want to know if there's a way or something.
So,
Me too.
Not out of the box. However, I did a proof of concept for a client, and basically had written something that there was a redirect. So there's JavaScript and there was a redirect. So if somebody had ticked the box that said opt out of everything, then it would redirect them to a page that was essentially a form that said, that's we've honored and updated your information. Would you tell us why? If the opt out on the purpose was not selected, then it would redirect to a different page, maybe the resources page or something else on the website. So out of the box, no, but could it be done? Yes, but you'd need to have some JavaScript that would essentially check what had been ticked on the form and then determine where the redirect would go.
And you're relying on another form
Okay.
submission as well.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
Thank you very much.
It worked, but obviously you've got some people that, might have things that are blocking JavaScript. It might not always work, but at least you might get it sometimes. The other thing is, I've found a lot of times that when you're opting out, I'm like, if I've opted out, I'm really not going to spend time to tell you why. I just don't want it. So it's also one of those things that I always find really challenging when people want to know. Yeah, but I'm not likely to tell you if I don't want your content anymore. So it's a little bit harder, and I can see from Microsoft's perspective, it might not be even worth the effort for that when there's so many other things that we need them to do. But yeah. So try a bit of JavaScript if you're really wanting to do it, but it's also a bit of extra effort. So.
Oh, nice. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Thanks,
No
Danilo.
worries.
All right, so we've got Ray.
Mr. Ray. I've enabled your microphone. Sorry for the Finding Nemo reference. No, doesn't get the joke. You can unmute yourself now.
Hi, Ray. You're up. It's on you. We're waiting. Everyone's waiting for you.
Mr. Ray. No.
You should have the option. If not, I can read that out. He says he doesn't have the option to unmute.
Go for it. Read it. Sorry, Mr. Ray.
Okay, so I'll read it. How do you suggest handling micro-targeted lists? As marketing lists have gone away in real time, what are the options? Creating topics for a single use seems unreasonable and difficult to execute at scale. Well, I'm not sure if you joined later on. We have already touched on marketing lists.
Yeah.
They're not gone away in real time. Marketing lists are an age-old table in Dataverse that have been around since, I don't even necessarily want to say from the start, but probably pretty close. So
early
marketing
days.
lists have never been part of it. They're not going away. And actually, the lovely Vinay Deo has made a comment underneath. Vinay works for Microsoft as one of the product managers, can we say? I'm not entirely sure of your title, Vinay,
like
sorry.
him.
But he says they're not gone, and he's also shared a link in terms of things being removed. So hopefully that will help.
I think I know what Ray is getting at, because you can't put the marketing list on a form and someone could tick a box to put themselves on it. It's only from people putting someone on that list.
Oh, yes.
You know, like how a subscription list used to work. So I think in that scenario, I would be looking at using unmapped fields and a segment based on form responses. It's a bit gross. I don't know if I love it, but I don't think there's any other way. I think Ray's added a comment as well, so we have to do that thing where we marketing lists that they would be available but become unstable. I think yeah. And I don't know what to say without implicating myself.
I don't know about that being unstable, but if you've heard something from someone,
I would question support on that one. That sounds like a load of rubbish.
Yeah.
Anyway,
so
before I implicate myself further,
we're going to go to Camilla.
Camilla, I am coming to unmute your microphone. Uh-oh.
This is a question about consent center.
My favorite. Your mic is enabled. You can now unmute yourself.
Hiya.
Hiya.
So I'm fairly new to the marketing side of Dynamics. So I've only been
welcome
doing
to the dark side.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, so I've been tasked with helping the transition. So one thing I can't really get my head around is the whole consent center piece. So we did a form, and obviously we've created a commercial topic, got them to opt in, but it's still, when we put them in a journey, it wouldn't send the email because they had like bulk emails not allowed in Outbound. But this is in real time and it's just blocking everything, and I can't seem to find any decent documentation on what I'm meant to be doing.
Camilla, I've got 5 blog posts all about compliance and consent centers and all of that fun stuff, so I will share that with you. There is also, which if you're new to it, you might not be aware, I think the feature switch is still there.
It is still there.
Yeah. So in the feature switch areas, which is in the settings of the app, if you scroll through them, I think it's near the bottom, and there is something that basically is something like either ignore or look at the fields or don't. So because that is an old leftover outbound marketing, it looked at that bulk email field, and it also would look at the email field as well. Once you're ready, and if you're wanting to say, right, from this point, we are only going to look at consent, then it's worth going and looking at that feature switch, because I can't remember if it's a turn off or a turn on, but read through it. And then that will say we're only looking at consent and we're not looking at the old fields that we used to for outbound.
Okay, so even if someone has
make sure you pull the do not allow opt-out into your compliance profile. Otherwise, you're then going to email a heap of people who already unsubscribed.
Okay, yeah, because I've already imported the contact center preferences from Outbound into Realtime. So does that cover everything?
Yep, so it goes with the most restrictive policy. So if you've got 2 contacts with the same email address, one's opted out, one's opted in, that email address is then opted out, which is kind of fair play. They went with the most compliant option. Yeah. But in theory, so the reason that your contacts with that topic aren't receiving it is because they've opted out. Like that's kind of how it is, unless they've then opted back in since you loaded the consent. Because if they opt in through Realtime, it doesn't go back and update their contact do not allow indicator, which might be where you're coming across this.
Yeah.
So check the feature switch. As long as you've loaded in all your opt-outs that exist, you can then stop checking the contact consent, and also that you're not using any other marketing outbound forms or emails. Because if you turn off that consent check before you've fully migrated from Outbound, people will be opting out in Outbound and you won't be respecting their consent.
Yes.
Got you.
And have a look on your question, Camilla, because Laura has shared exactly what the name of the feature switch is. So thank you, Laura.
Thanks, Laura.
All right, so we'll move on. We've got a bit of time left, so we've got time for some more questions. Sean Applegate, thank you. I can read your name and I don't sound like a dummy. So let's
That's a you thing,
allow
not a him
Sean
thing.
to ask his question.
Microphone enabled, Sean.
Oh, hey, everyone.
Hi.
This is kind of the inverse of Camilla's question. So, we are utilizing that do not allow bulk email field to control who gets what. Just looking for confirmation. I see Josh has already added a comment here that I think answers it, but just confirmation that that field still will be available after June 30th, and we'll be able to continue using this do not allow bulk email field as kind of a larger catch-all for complete unsubscription.
Yeah, and look at the, again, Vinay, who was commented underneath Josh on your question. He works for Microsoft. He said the field will not go away. It is also one of those older legacy fields that's been around forever, and it's not just used by the marketing app. So the field isn't going to go away, but if you want to carry on using it, like he said, you'll need to maintain that. So if you're then, which you have to obviously move to real time, and you've got real-time consent being updated, if you still have a need to be updating that older bulk email field or the email field, you will have to create some kind of flow or process to be updating that yourself.
Right, if it's not done manually, right?
Yeah. I mean, depends how many unsubscribes and stuff you get. That might be a lot to do manually. It might be relatively easy. But yes, you'd have to maintain that yourself.
Okay, thank you very much.
No problem.
No worries.
Michael Priola, but it's with the P. His last name is first. Yeah, got it.
First, last name. Oh no, wait. I think he's left because it's saying he's not in the meeting anymore. So clearly he's had enough of waiting and has dropped the mic and run away.
So then let's move on.
Fair enough. I need another name. Louise?
Yep, hold on. Now I've lost my place. Oh, yeah, Louise Fagerstrom?
Yep, got it. The F. I'm not going to... microphone enabled for Louise.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
So most of our customers has gone over to Realtime. But I'm just wondering, do you know what happened if we uninstall Outbound?
I don't think you can uninstall it yet.
Yeah, it's literally
but it said like hide.
Yes. Yeah. So at the minute you can still hide it, and then you can show it again. So unhide it. So everything is still there. So from my understanding, at the moment, it is essentially doing something in the sitemap to hide it from the sitemap. So everything is still there. Also, when it comes to the final cutoff from Microsoft, then they're not deleting data. So all of the data is there. It's just that services will be stopped.
Yeah, so you, for example, you cannot send emails or using the forms or
no,
those kind of things.
Yeah.
No. Yeah, but if you have like data in tables that's only existing outbound, they will still be there.
Yeah, the data shouldn't be deleted. Is that your understanding, Amey?
Correct. Yeah, as far as I know, there's no imminent plans to actually delete the tables. It's just turning off the services. And that's why they're kind of saying the words like it's not deprecated, it's being switched off. Like the language is a bit different.
Yeah.
I think it'll hang around for quite a long time. I imagine it's quite hard for them to unpick it, to be honest, from the real-time marketing solution. I think it will hang around as baggage for quite a while.
Okay, so technically you can, if you don't using any of the services, you can technically use the data to use it in real time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
You can still access the data, do whatever you need to do with it.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
No worries.
Laura Herbert.
Whenever I see someone's name in capitals, I'm like, Herbert. I enabled your microphone.
Maybe is that how you introduce yourself, Laura?
My name's Laura Herbert.
Exactly. It doesn't make it easier because it's two first names, but yeah, at least you got it right. It's Laura. So I'm having this topic at two different clients of mine where we have like a profile on their website where they can manage subscribes and unsubscribes. And obviously these are links to different compliance profiles. They're linked to both SMS and email. Obviously, out of the box, you can't host a preference center yourself. So we're kind of figuring out a way on how to do this, but obviously it might be a lead, it might be a contact, so it's not that easy. The key point would be the linkage of the email address one.
what's the best way to do this? Do you really want to start replicating the whole consent on the contact and delete? Do you work with an API call?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like the challenge is that you've got an easy way to say, oh, do you want to subscribe? So for the first time, someone could be filling stuff out and ticking boxes. That's fine on a form.
It's
you
the
could
pre-fill.
also have a well, so I was going to say that's somebody that you don't know. So the very first time, obviously that's quite easy because it's just a normal form. And then if you've got it set up, it can link to an existing record based on your rules for the form submission. The other thing would be at the bottom of your emails, obviously you've got the unsubscribe, but that is to your preference center. The other option is you could have a form and then use pre-fill and have the pre-fill set on the topics and the purpose. And then someone clicking on it from the email and going to it, it should, in theory, have those boxes ticked or unticked. The problem with that is because it's based on the context that someone clicks and then the link passes through the context onto the form, and that's what determines what is shown in pre-fill. If somebody then forwards the email to somebody else and say, hey, I thought you might be interested in blah, 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 and that person clicks on the link, then the context is still, so if John Smith forwards it to Mary Smith.
But even that doesn't cover it, because that means in the, let's say the website where the profile is, you would need to say like, oh, you have consent topic 1, please send yourself an email so that you can get the unsubscribe link so that the pre-fill works.
Yeah, I mean, the pre-fill only works if somebody's clicking on a link from the email and going back to it. Yeah, so it's not ideal. Those are really the only ways, is either that somebody's just only ever getting to it from the preference center by clicking on the link at the bottom of the email, or you're creating a form that someone only gets to if they click on a link from an email and it passes through the context. So there is no perfect solution to it at all. I agree. Those are really the only options that I can think about, unless Microsoft provides some kind of way of doing an external page in the future. But at the moment, I've not seen anything that indicates that yet.
And the idea of an API call?
Yeah, ideally, you could do an API call, but you'd have to build all the logic yourself. I mean, the ideal world is that an API call and some kind of API is set up by Microsoft that deals with all that logic. So then you're not rebuilding the logic. But currently, you'd have to just build it yourself.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So stuff to think about.
Thinking things through here. Thank you for helping.
You're welcome. So one last question.
Yeah, and then I tried to look for Blake, and then I think he's not in the chat anymore, because I think he was next on the list. So I think that didn't really work. So can I have another name?
Oh no, Blake is here. Blake says he's here.
Blake is here. Yeah. Why aren't you coming up when I search for you? Let me try again.
Blake,
I think
BLAKE.
No, got it. His name got reorganized.
So Blake, you're last, so you got to be quick.
You're on. Your mic is enabled.
Great, no problem. So this is about updating existing contact records via the import. Is there what's the best way to update an existing record without having to use like a Power Automate flow or something like that? Like, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, you're looking for the magic.
And when?
Yeah.
Yeah, not the quickest one on the call.
No.
So using the import wizard, there's no add or update an existing contact record functionality in the import wizard out of the box.
Correct.
What is your suggested way to update existing records without pulling down the entire contact table?
So mine would be to go and create a view of the contacts that you want to update. And then instead of clicking to export or import, I would do open in Excel online. And then it just opens it up in a window in like right above the view.
Sure.
And then I would go ahead and change it, and then you just submit it.
Yeah, at bulk, it's quite clunky. And I just thought maybe Megan V. Walker, my savior, would have a
Sorry, Megan.
I will take that crown off. If this was the start of the call, Blake, and this was a call about imports and exports, maybe, but no, it's not a quick answer, is it?
Thank you.
I have built stuff to do this. using custom
Yes.
pages and
Check
Power
out
Automate
Amey's
in the
site.
background. It is possible. You can build
Great.
stuff that does. But essentially, keyword upsert. You want to chuck a
Okay.
list in it, you either need to create or update. I've done a blog post, wasn't super detailed because it was a bit of an ugly monster flow, but you can do it using custom page and like a
Great. Thank you so much,
template.
Amy. I'm going to reach out to you.
No
Thank
worries.
you.
So
That's okay.
Amey is now Blake's new saver. Everybody, we've got that on
Yeah,
record.
sorry, get out.
So we've reached the end. Literally, that I think we got through a ton of questions there. Again, for people that we haven't been able to get through, Amey and I are going to review all of the questions that we've had from the session earlier today and then this one. If we can combine in some kind of way that's like a FAQ question doc that has some valuable information, we'll share that in a blog post in some kind of way. Thank you for taking the time to attend. Hope it was useful. We've already got 2 more sessions planned in 2 weeks. So if you think that it might be helpful to attend the next one, the 30th, we'll do one at 7 a.m. UK or BST and one at 4 p.m. BST. So we'll share those links online on social media. But thank you for attending. Amey, any last words? Are you going to go to bed now at 1 a.m.?
I feel like I just might as well start the next day, you know? I mean, it's already
Keep it
Thursday,
going.
so, you know, let's go.
Keep it going.
Thanks for all the fish.
Thanks, guys. Take care.